Hello and a warm welcome to this Result Day Live. And what a spectacular Tuesday! A story of a big turnaround. Till about 9 a.m., if you've been following all the TV channels, till 9 a.m., the BJP headquarters in Delhi looked desolate. And at the AICC headquarters, I saw it myself, people distributing jalebis and laddus. By 9:30, it was a complete somersault of what we are seeing and witnessing right now. If you look at the figures, Congress in Haryana is trailing and BJP is leading on 49 seats, and Congress is leading on 35 seats, and others are leading on 6 seats. As far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, it looks like a done deal for the India Alliance because National Conference is seen to be leading on 52 seats, PDP 2, BJP 27, and others 9. So, as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, it looks like India Alliance is safely in a position to form the government. But Haryana is a big surprise, which the exit pollsters got it wrong. Many journalists got it wrong. The big TV channels also got it wrong because right from day one, people said that the sentiment in Haryana was against BJP. Be it the farmers, be it the wrestlers, be it the Jawans, price rise, and so many other issues were prevailing. And even BJP wasn't sure. In fact, I spoke to a few BJP leaders, and they also seemed to be not sure of this kind of a tight contest which is now shaping up. If you look at the larger picture right now, and I'll repeat the figures for Haryana again, BJP is leading on 49 seats, 35 seats, Congress and others 6. But let me tell you as to what has happened in the last almost 1.5 hours. Now, Congress has been complaining, and in fact, Jairam Ramesh has already written a letter to the Election Commission saying that the Election Commission is not updating the data. They are slow as far as the updation of data is concerned. And that is one point of concern which they are saying, because Congress has been saying that their control room has been showing that after 11 or 12 rounds, it's the Congress candidates which are leading. At least that's what Pawan Khera has claimed. And now a complaint has been written to the Election Commission. But what we'll try and discuss, that is the Haryana contest really going down the wire as it looks as of now. But why is the Election Commission not updating the data? I was looking at various TV channels and also the Election Commission data where this figure of 49 and 35 has been stuck and stuck badly for the last 1.5 hours. So we'll try and understand all these factors. And did we misread BJP? That is also one question, because people have been saying that Amit Shah has been trying to micromanage the election for BJP in the last 5 days. And there are several other factors which we'll try and discuss. Joining me now is S. Srinivasan, who's the editor-in-chief of the Federal. So thank you so much for joining. We have Nadir Ali, who's the director of the Center for Peace and Development in Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you so much, Nadir. We have Siddharth Sharma, who's an independent media analyst. Thank you so much, Siddharth. And we have Puneet Nicholas Yadav, who's a senior editor with the Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet. And Puneet, I'll begin with you because you traveled to Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana both. And I'll begin the story with Haryana because the entire focus is now on Haryana as to what has really gone wrong. Has Congress got it wrong, or is BJP deliberately trying to use some tricks, as what has been pointed out by Pawan Khera?
Hi, Nilu, and thank you. Well, as far as Haryana is concerned, I think one, of course, it is a bit of a shocker for everyone. I think the only people who seem to have shown some consistency here are the exit pollsters, because all of them seem to have got it wrong again. But you know, with regard to Haryana, what I think is happening, if you look at the assembly segment-wise breakup of the seats where the BJP is currently leading and or the Congress is currently leading, there are a few pointers on what possibly happened. One thing that is very clear is a very open, clear divide between the Jats and the non-Jats. So areas which have a huge chunk of the non-Jat voters. Now, whether those are OBCs, Brahmins, Punjabi Khatris, the Yadavs, or the Ahirs, the Ahir belt, or even the Dalits, they seem to have gone back to or remained with the BJP. And the gains that the Congress had made in the Lok Sabha election by breaking away a substantial chunk of this vote from the BJP, bringing it to the Congress's fold, seems to have been undone, if not completely, then substantially. So a lot of them have gone back. Now, one can say that this is possibly one reason. Possibly could be how the entire campaign in Haryana revolved around Bhupinder Hooda. He had his say in the distribution of tickets. 72 tickets out of 88, 89 tickets, seats that the Congress was contesting on. 72 went to Bhupinder Hooda's loyalists. And there was a sense among that uh, it'll be back to the Huda Raj of 2004, 2005 to 2014, when there were these constant allegations of, Jat dominance and non-Jats not getting a proper say in government, etc. And of course, what the Prime Minister called the Parchi, allegations of corruption and land deals and all of that. So that certainly, I think what's also worked more than what we put stock on for the BJP is the change of the chief minister by bringing in Naib Singh Saini, who all of us I think thought was a lightweight, would find it difficult to win his own seat, and all those speculations that were made we all seem to have got that wrong, because he belongs to the OBC community. There seems to have been a consolidation of the OBC community for the BJP here. The Congress also seems to be paying the price of sidelining Kumari Shailja, its most prominent Dalit face. There are 16, the state has over 20%, 22% Dalit population, 16 seats that are reserved for Dalits. Given the kind of narrative that the Congress built around, Dalit empowerment, Constitution Khatre mein hai, all of those things, one would have expected the Congress to do spectacularly in the Dalit areas. But that is not happening. In fact, out of the 16 seats that are reserved for Dalits, it's an even split. 8 seats where the Congress is leading, but very marginally. 8 seats where the BJP is leading, some of which it's leading very substantial margins. So that's again something that I think all of us read it wrong. Yeah.
Puneet, would you say that this infighting between Huda and Shelja, was this such a big potential factor which has really corroded Congress?
Quite certainly, I think a lot of us did not put enough, thought to it while the campaign was on, because the general sense was that people have made up their mind, they want to get rid of the BJP, and so they'll vote for the Congress irrespective of, this internal resentment. But clearly, we were all wrong, because I was talking to somebody in the Congress, a senior leader in the Congress a while back, who told me that, towards the fag end of the campaign, they did get this feedback that the Dalits are very unhappy with how, Shelja is being treated. There were some very nasty, very casteist, terrible, horrible comments that were made about Shelja by people close to Bhupinder Hooda. And the party never really, came out in Shelja's support at that point in time, barring, the perfunctory kind of statements that, oh, she's our senior leader and we respect her. So, and then she didn't campaign for the longest time. So, towards the end, when this feedback was given, if you recall, Rahul, for the last 3 days of the campaign, took out a yatra in Haryana.
Yes.
And that yatra started from Ambala,
Yes.
which was Shelja's earlier Lok Sabha seat. She's won from there. It's a Dalit reserved seat. She's won from the Ambala Lok Sabha seat twice before moving to Sirsa now. And so his yatra largely covered areas which had a substantial Dalit population. And then on the last day of the campaign, they brought in Ashok Tawar, who's also a Dalit, also from Sirsa, and in fact had lost the election to Kumari Shailja this time. So I think, these last minute maneuvers did not really pay well for the Congress, and the party was too overconfident. And by putting all its eggs in the Huda basket, I think they just got it horribly wrong.
Right. You use the right word, that putting all the eggs in the Huda basket. But you were talking about these last minute maneuvers, Puneet. I'll come to Siddharth now. That Siddharth, there were some last move maneuverings by BJP as well. Now, on the day of the polling, I'll just give you some instances which I tried to note down. On the day of the polling, which is 5th of October, BJP initiated the Kisan Samman Nidhi, and they cleverly made those payments. Of course, election commission didn't raise questions on that, but then purely that was a move to divide the farmer and the Jat votes. That was one clever move which was made by the BJP. Then they tried to appropriate the independents also. That is also one reason, how they've been indirectly sponsoring the independence, and especially of a particular caste. So is this clever move by the BJP really has paid them, and paid them to such an extent that this entire contest now looks like a tight contest? Siddharth, unmute. Just unmute yourself, Siddharth. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself. We all know, Nilu, that BJP, when it fights an election or when it does its politics, it goes to any lengths. It takes for granted that everything is fair in an election. It can go to any lengths. So that said, I'll just try to touch upon Jammu Kashmir first, then Haryana, and then try to amalgamate both of them. What has happened essentially in Jammu Kashmir is that BJP has got 26% vote share. That clearly means that in Jammu Kashmir, the people of Jammu Kashmir have voted for decentralization, because even their own party, the Farooq Abdullah's party, the National Conference, has not got majority on its own. So Jammu Kashmir's verdict is towards decentralization. That is very clear. Now coming to Haryana. Haryana, as of now, I was just going through the Election Commission's website. As far as seats are concerned, I agree that it's stuck. But as far as the total number of votes that are being counted, out of the 1.25 crore approximate votes that were polled, around 90 lakh votes have already been counted. So that is nearly 75% votes have already been counted. The difference between BJP and Congress is 0.5%. Congress is 0.5% more, that is at nearly 40.5%, and BJP is at nearly 39%. The net difference between BJP's and Congress vote is less than 50,000 across Haryana. So that clearly means that BJP is doing well in Haryana, contrary to what exit polls were stating, and contrary to most of us pollsters, or so-called, we call ourselves as experts. Obviously, we got it wrong. Now, where did we get this wrong in Haryana? I think fighting an election is one thing, and winning an election is something totally different. Any independent in India can become a candidate in an election and fight an election. But to win an election, you have to understand it's a very complicated process. Uh, there are often times where different groups have conflicting interests. For example, a farmer in deep Haryana may be very much worried about the rate of his crops, that he is getting less. But his son, who is living in Gurgaon, he would be more worried about the food inflation. Now, if a farmer is going to get more of his MSP, obviously the food inflation will raise in the cities. So there are conflicting interests of different groups. And what political parties usually do when fighting an election is that try to arrive at some kind of LCM. That is, in a mathematics, they call it as the lowest common mean, something like a mass psychology. So if you see Haryana from that angle, from a macro level, what are the needs of a common man? Is a common man's need hunger? Is a common man's need wealth? Or is a common man's need jobs? So these three things are these are the things that are more in the narrative today. But the point here is that if you see Haryana, Haryana is an agricultural state. Obviously, there is no hunger issue as such. For example, something like Orissa, Kalahandi, or Bihar, those kind of hunger issues are not there in Haryana. Now, is wealth an issue, wealth creation an issue in Haryana? As we all know, the per capita income of Haryana is amongst the top five in India. So wealth also does not become a very big issue. Now there has been a lot of discussion that there is a lot of joblessness and unemployment in Haryana. I agree to that, but also we have to accept the fact that a state which is good, which is high in per capita, they would not be too much into jobs. When I say too much into jobs, an average Haryanvi, I'm not saying certain groups would, obviously there would be certain marginalized groups who would be finding unemployment difficult and unemployment a problem. But for the mass psyche, for an average Haryanvi, I don't think jobs are an issue. Uh, the simple proof here is that recently Olympics happened and most of the medals came from Haryana, 5, 6 medals, and that also means that thousands of youngsters would be in Haryana's wrestling houses in villages trying to practice. So that also shows that Haryana is a well-to-do place. So a state in which hunger is not an issue, joblessness is not that big an issue, wealth is not that big an issue. So what issue remains? What is the thirst? I think the thirst is for social status, and BJP played its card very well. First with Khattar, totally when Mr. Khattar was made the chief minister, he was not a mass leader, but he was paradropped from outside. Now recently they brought in Naib Singh Saini. So BJP is trying to give a message to the average Haryanvi that I am going to give you social status. Whereas paradoxically, if you see Congress's campaign, uh, for that social status within their party, Shailja, Huda, they were fighting for that status. So I think that tilted the scale to an extent, to a large extent, in BJP's favor. Although having said all these things, I still feel that because Congress's vote share is bigger right now than BJP's, it'll be it's still going to be a 2020 humdinger by the time the election results come. The old fat lady has not sung finally. There is a lot of this canary is going to sing a lot in the coming hours. But one thing is clear between Haryana and Jammu Kashmir results, that one third of India, average Indian one third, that is nearly 30% of India, votes towards centralization of power. But at the same time, there is a two-thirds India which votes towards decentralization of power. Now it's up to those people who stand for decentralization, maybe India Alliance, maybe Congress, maybe the small parties, to understand that BJP stands for centralization of power, and if the others stand for decentralization of power, how do they amalgamate? How do they coalesce together and give a better fight to BJP in the coming times?
All right. Now, Shri sir, I'll come to you and then I'll come to Nadir on the Jammu and Kashmir bit as well. Shri sir, a lot of like Jairam Ramesh, Pawan Kheda, they're all blaming the election commission, saying that, the data is stuck, they are not updating it. So there is something horribly wrong with the election commission. I wouldn't be surprised that, maybe after 1 or 2 hours or maybe after 3 hours, they'll start blaming the EVM also. Now, these unwritten factors, which Jairam Ramesh and Pawan Khera are talking about, how much of this would be a factor, in making this contest tight? And is it at all a factor? Or everybody has got it completely wrong? It was BJP who has, at the end of the day, tried to make Haryana elections into a tight cornered contest, which everybody got it wrong horribly. Yes, Srinisa.
Yeah, look, Neelu, I won't go into the conspiracy theories which now suddenly Congress is coming up with. It didn't say if it was winning, it wouldn't have probably said such things. And I think it's a bit early. The problem which they're pointing out right now that is that the declaration of results, the rounds are not uh, being done properly. That's the allegation they are right now bringing up. Otherwise, they haven't said anything which at least convinced me that there is something wrong with the whole process. Uh, the more substantial issue is that it's a complete shocker, surprise. It once again proves to all of us that no two elections are the same. I mean, every election is a different election, and one must say that exit polls, as usual, all got it wrong. And the media, probably media is also gradually getting its ground reporting wrong, or not enough ground reporting is being done. I think more and more media houses are, spending, encouraging their top guns to spend more time in, television studios as far as TV channels are concerned. And TV channels, in any case, never used to do an extensive job on the ground. It's the print reporters who used to go travel far and wide and gather meticulously reports. I think even probably they are all getting wrong, because I don't know how much investment is being made on. Probably the share has reduced than what I have known in the past of actually investing on ground reporting. This clearly
Yeah.
shows, and we can't be every time looking very foolish on the screen and saying, media got it wrong. We are all part of that. It's inexcusable, and that will further reduce the credibility of our own standing among the people. Now, having said this, let's come to the more core issue of what are the broad messages from this election. Someone who had traveled like Puneet and others will have a better idea of what has happened on the ground. From a distance, what I see is that no party should develop hubris. That's a message which seemed to be coming constantly from the people. BJP was too confident, said we are getting 400 par, and they had to bite dust. Similarly, Congress seemed supremely confident. Of course, constantly, Congress forgets one thing, that they have the innate ability to snatch, defeat from the jaws of victory. That's the one thing they have perfected the art. They always seem to be doing. If you look at Kashmir, what is another clear message coming is that there is a clear divide between the Jammu region and the the valley. BJP has not been able to do much there, and on the other hand, the other parties have not been able to do much on this side. There was some expectation for Congress, but even one or two candidates who were won from the Jammu region are from the National Conference. The other thing is, now the government is going to be a very different nature in Kashmir. It's not going to be the same. It's not a state government with all the powers. You will see the kind of noises which you're constantly hearing from Aam Aadmi Party's Kejriwal in Delhi. You might hear those kinds of noises because the 5 nominated MLAs are also there. And BJP is not going to give up on this. They'll keep raising this. So the federal issues really will come up. The governance is going to be equally challenging for NC. It's not going to be a cakewalk because the regions are all right now divided, and it's going to be a continuing story as far as NC is concerned. We'll see more of Omar now on national TV and other places complaining constantly. I mean, I find if at all he becomes it's going to be a tough one for him. Let's come to the Haryana side, which has been a total shocker for all of us. Here now the one factor which seems to be very strongly emerging is the perhaps the Jat versus rest kind of is it an anti-Jat polarization which has happened? Because BJP did one thing. Traditionally, Jats have played a very important role in the politics of Haryana, and they brought somebody like Khattar, and everybody said, what has happened? Why have they done this? And they not only completed almost 2 terms. In the end of the second term, they brought in another person who was again a non-Jat. And everybody thought that this is going to boomerang now. It's not going to work, but the opposite seemed to have happened. Is there any clear explanation for this? Can we clearly say that look, anti-Jat mobilization which has helped? We can't so firmly say again because in some Jat areas too, BJP hasn't done so badly. And if you look at the vote share of both of them, Congress and BJP, it's almost same, 39 point something. The vote share is almost same. But the seats are varied, which means BJP managed to do its poll management and poll calculation more concentrated. And actually, it carefully, ensured that since it's the first past the poll system, that its candidates are very well placed to win. But the numbers may still vary a bit here and there because these many seats are still very closely contested there, and till the last results come, I think it is going down to the wire. But we the overall trend is very clear that BJP is in the lead. Now, what are the other possible outcomes? Let's look at beyond Haryana and J&K. Do you have anything coming, any lessons coming for other political parties beyond that? I think that's the question we must now examine, because now more or less the results are out by 2 o'clock. We know what has happened. But you will see BJP by evening getting ready for the next election. The next starting its preparation for the next election, whereas the Congress would still be making its own, trying to analyze and trying to, once again, allegations of infighting, all those kinds of things you will see. But few things are on the card, which is interesting to note. Who would be the next BJP chief? Is it going to be easy now for BJP top brass, that is Narendra Modi, Prime Minister, and Nadda to appoint next, or Amit Shah to appoint the next BJP chief of their choice? Is it going to be much easier for them now? Because
I think Srini sir has, the audio has got disconnected. Okay, so we'll wait for Srini sir to return if he can get
because
connected.
it seems that,
Sorry, sir, we lost your audio in between. Yes, Srini sir. Yes.
yeah, I know the internet connection is poor.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah. So the other thing is about the BJP chief change, which is what I was talking.
Yes.
It should be much easier for the top two to change the BJP chief to their liking, because there was speculation that RSS could try to play a role here. I'm not sure whether that will work here right now, because these results once again prove that their poll management is on the dot. Then what kind of momentum it will build for Maharashtra and Jharkhand election? That is to be seen. The other factor is Modi still remains a major factor, though there were speculations that Modi hadn't done so many rallies in Haryana, and therefore it won't have much impact. I don't think things are moving in that direction. Despite doing lesser rallies, he seemed to have managed to drive a very strong message that Congress is still house divided, and we are the one who can give you better governance. We are the one who can hold your the politics there together. I think this is a strong message which Modi was able to send. Coming to the other side, Rahul, it's interesting that how's Rahul seen there? In the north, it is very important for Rahul and Congress to win the election, and it's important for him to make some strides there. Therefore, this election is very crucial. Though Haryana is a small state, but it is very close to Delhi, and this was one factor which everybody was watching very closely. And if Haryana was won by Congress, that would have been this would have been a big credit for him. But again, I think the story here is that he is really in grip of Congress party. Is he able to manage things to his liking, or the whole thing of leaving it to some one satrap and seeing that it'll win the election for the party is, I think, is a misnomer. The politics is now far more widely spread. You can't depend on one community or one leader who has maybe proven in the past, but when the ground reality is changing, you need to change yourself constantly. Has Congress learned that lesson? And even if Rahul has learned, does he have the capability to enforce it on the party? Is a wide question.
True. Very significant points, Shri sir, you made, and also on the larger ramifications about the messages which this election would be sending. Now, I will come to Jammu and Kashmir, Nadir, to you, that it's almost like a done deal that India Alliance will form the government. Now, how about the prospects of Congress in Jammu and Kashmir, and also what about the challenges ahead of the India Alliance government? We'll, of course, like Srinisa said, that we'll see Omar more and more more often. But what about the challenges before the government? Given the fact that LG is much more powerful, are we going to see a governance model something like what we are seeing in Delhi?
You have raised a good question, Nilu. It's crystal clear. The India Alliance has won in J&K. They will have a lot of problems. Earlier it was a state, now it's a UT. There is a division between Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu voted for BJP, Valley and Chenab voted for India Alliance. But there is a one thing that's very important. The majority of the people voted for against BJP, particularly Kashmir Valley and Chenab Valley. So they have given a clear message to India Alliance: you have to fight. If you get a lot of struggle during the governance, you have to fight for that. So they have, we're expecting, if Rahul Gandhi ji or India Alliance brings a statehood bill in the parliament, if that passes, I think that will help to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. But one thing is clear: there will be a lot of problems in coming after the government formations. But if India Alliance can put a pressure on LG also, they let them work well, because Kashmir is not a Delhi; it's a very sensitive place. It's a very, very much sensitive place. You have a lot of stakeholders, you have a lot of foreign influence also here. So if they interfere in governing J&K state, it will have a different ramifications as well. As Puneet can describe that very well, because he's a well-known face, not only in journalism but in Kashmir as well. He quite often visits to Kashmir. So it's very difficult to predict right now that if a BJP is going to interfere in governance, that it won't have any ramifications, and that will be very disastrous, highly disastrous.
All right, now I'm just looking at the clock. It's 1:37, 1:38 rather. But the figures of Haryana are still the same: 49 seats to BJP. I mean, 49 seats BJP is leading, and Congress is stuck on 35. Puneet, now the big question. I mean, the only question which everyone is wanting to know: is there any hope left for the Congress, or we still have to like wait for many hours for Haryana to come to any conclusion? Yes, Puneet.
Uh, there will be, I mean, if there are changes in this tally, I believe they'll be very marginal, because in most of the constituencies, from what I can see, this is like, if there are 15 rounds of voting, then 11 or 12 rounds have been completed, and so most constituencies, it's just 4, 5, 6 rounds of counting that are left now. They could make a difference in seats where the margins are very narrow. And there are, of course, quite a few of those seats where the margins are still within 5,000, 2,000, 1,000, like that. But in constituencies where the BJP is currently leading by 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, I don't think in those constituencies there is much scope for a turnaround. So Haryana, I think, is moving towards a third consecutive BJP government, and the second in the last, 3 elections, to vote the BJP back to power with with a very clear majority. You know.
Okay, so 139, and Puneet has said that Haryana is heading towards a third consecutive victory for the BJP. Siddharth, your assessment?
Yeah, my assessment is simple. It's very strange that Congress is leading in the vote share by at least 0.5%, but still trailing 15 seats. And in Haryana, 5% of the votes, anti-BJP votes, did not go to the Congress. They went to Indian National Lokdal and Aam Aadmi Party. So 7% of the vote share, which could have been part of the India Alliance, has split off from India Alliance, and Congress, in spite of having a larger number of vote share, is ending up with less seats. That goes out to show, as Srini sir said, that elections teach
But
political
Siddharth,
parties not to.
till about 6 rounds of counting, I was looking at the vote percentage of the independents. That was about 18%. I haven't checked the latest figure.
Exactly.
But do you think that the independents have played a big spoil spot for the Congress this time?
Yes, of course, independents have played. I think Congress should learn a little bit of from BJP. BJP, even in states in which it is strong, like in Uttar Pradesh, it goes on to have some kind of alliance, even if in a small area, with parties like Apna Dal. that adds to its value. I think what Congress did this time, that although there was an India alliance, but all these people, all these independents or Indian National Lokdal or Aam Aadmi Party, these are the parties which are basically anti-BJP votes. They could have easily fallen into the kitty of Congress, but they did not. And I think that those are the parties that have damaged Congress this time. I think in the forthcoming elections or polls, Team India has to decide how best to counter BJP electorally. Electoral mathematics, I think the chemistry this time BJP got it right regarding the mass psyche of Haryana. It also got the mathematics right. I think Congress and India Alliance got both the mathematics and the chemistry wrong.
Right. And now the TV channels have started playing celebration visuals of the BJP. I cannot pinpointedly say from where are these visuals coming, but yes, we can see the BJP flags, people waving and celebrating and sloganeering. But Puneet, you were raising your hand, and also one question about how at AICC headquarters at 9 a.m. was it like overconfidence? I saw people distributing laddus and jalebis. And I'm reminded of that scene which happened in Bihar in 2015. We were there at that time. They started with the celebrations, and look what happened. So is it something similar what we are seeing? Yes, Puneet.
2015, it was a different party office.
Yes.
That's the only difference. 2015, it was the BJP office.
Yes.
But then, with Congress, of course, what else do you say? It is certainly overconfidence. And see, I'll give you one. I mean, before I go to the moot question here of the Congress and Haryana. The small correction that I'd like to make to I slightly differ with what Siddharth was saying about independence and INLD and the vote share there, because the INLD vote in Haryana is not an anti-BJP vote. It has traditionally not been an anti-BJP vote. The Aam Aadmi Party, yes, to some extent. But the INLD vote in Haryana is not an anti-BJP vote. In fact, the INLD in the constituencies where it has certain, shown some revival, it is with the understanding, with the BJP. So, that to blame the independents and the AAP and the INLD and the JJP for eating into the Congress's vote is not really the right assessment in my view, because a lot of this would have either gone directly to the BJP or not gone certainly to the Congress. There are only a handful of seats, not even a handful. I can tell you just 3 constituencies where the the Congress has been damaged because of independence. One of which, of course, is the Ambala seat where Chitra Sarvara is currently leading. So if she manages to win, she might come back to the Congress. In fact, her father is contesting from the adjoining constituency on a Congress ticket. So it was basically Bhupinder Hooda who had promised both father and daughter a ticket. The father got it, the daughter did not get it. So the father is contesting on a Congress ticket, and from the adjoining seat, the daughter is contesting as an independent. And she is contesting as an independent with Bhupinder Hooda's blessings, which is again something that Bhupinder Hooda is known for. In fact, a lot of the people I had been talking to in the Congress in Haryana were saying, and this is basically the problem with the Congress. A lot of them said that, look, if we get 60 plus, it will not be good. It should remain. And these are people in both camps, whether it is the Selja camp or the Hooda camp. They said that, it should remain within 50, 50, 52, not more than that. We don't want more than that because, the Selja camp thought that if it crosses, the 50 mark, Hooda will basically, crush her completely in political terms in Haryana. And the Hooda camp also thought that, okay, if it is just enough for my MLAs to win and then support me and my candidature, it helps my cause. So I don't really care about whether, Shelja's candidates win or, Surjewala's candidates win or even the High Command's candidates win. I just want my candidates to win. That has been Huda's strategy. It's the same strategy that Ashok Gehlot used to adopt in Rajasthan. Because if you see the elections that the Congress has contested in Rajasthan and won, the Congress was never in Rajasthan in a position where it had a very comfortable majority under Gehlot. It would always be, just a few
Right.
seats over the majority mark, just enough to get him to be chief minister.
Right.
So that is how, it's more of inward looking introspection that the Congress needs to do than, to look at what the independents have done to damage its prospects.
Absolutely. And Srini sir, I mean, another point which struck me while Puneet was speaking about, the introspection which the Congress needs to do, Congress, it seems, doesn't learn lessons from its own state units. Now, look at what has happened in Karnataka. Despite all the differences between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar, at the end of the day, when they are contesting elections, not many differences have come out. So, I mean, there's something intrinsically wrong with the state unit of Congress in Haryana, which means, and they've not planned it well, despite Rahul Gandhi driving the narrative, propelling the narrative.
See, Congress party has always been, it's a big tech party in the past. It was, which had all kinds of streams, all kinds of thoughts, all kinds of caste combination. Everything combined made the Congress party. So you will find very common in Congress party having different leaders, having difference of opinion, and thinking in various streams. And in the states, they normally have one powerful chief minister or one powerful leader who combines all this and has his own majority in the state, and he's able to co-opt other factions and carry them along. This has been the trend so far. In the past, if you notice, in many states, that's how it has happened. The one big leader would have an umbrella coalition of other social combination within a state, and he will lead them. Now, increasingly, what is happening is there seems to be a breakup in that, and everybody is being now reduced to a leader of that particular community. And with the central leadership itself weakening, I think even in the state, the leadership is kind of they're splintering, and this is one challenge which Congress party will have to face, and and see that how it overcomes that, because it's a challenge, and this is not just in one state; it is going to be in all the states. As opposed to that, BJP seems to be bringing up new leaders, many of them almost unknown. They bring kind of leaders who are unknown, and prop them up and manage to build a new coalition, and they seem to be succeeding in that constantly. Whether it was, a lot of surprises earlier in UP, now you're seeing it in Haryana. They also did it in Maharashtra. But I feel after a point of time, even BJP will start facing this problem the way now they are facing in Uttar Pradesh. So this is I think, a political process in India, very unique to Indian politics, because here, our social stratification is very large. We are not there are so many communities, so many pressure groups, so many demands to be met with political parties. What requires is a very deft management. I think BJP is able to do this, and they still have the overarching Hindutva as a slogan, which is still working for them. I just now heard a very, a BJP leader saying on television, saying that, Congress has lost because Rahul said he will cancel reservation in the US. So these are the kind of messages they keep sending. They are very, very good at that. Also, if you heard very closely, Modi's speech was constantly saying, they're all divided. They keep fighting. It's a divided house, Congress. Whereas there was a lot of internal strife happening within the BJP also. So they are able to magnify some of these issues, build impression, and almost proving themselves to be a non-anti-incumbency party. It's not the first term, it's not the second one, it's now the third term. And if Haryana they wins, I think they win. I think they'll most probably win. the thing here is how are they able to manage this again and again? How are they able to beat this anti-incumbency is a thing which Congress must closely see. And other thing, I feel that Rahul is now more or less declared as a leader for the Congress party, and he has to play from the front foot now. He has to assert, and whether a state is lost or won, he should take it on his chin. Depending on this thing which was evolved, that leave the state to the experts there, and then sit back and do a few rallies and hope that it will work. I don't think it is proving for the party, because though it's a assembly election, people still look at the larger leadership issue. And as of now, he's still not behaving as a PM in waiting. He's still behaving as a, hit and run opposition leader. I think these are some of the things which Congress party must take into account.
At the latest figures, it's 152, and BJP is inching towards 52. That's what the figures are saying, 52 and 50. It's like between this. Again, now it's 52. After 10 seconds, they show it as 50. And of course, Congress is stuck on 35. Now this is the latest figure, which I think Siddharth is showing. BJP is 48 and Congress is 37. So one quick comment before I wind up the show. Siddharth, you were showing those figures. What is your feeling now? Does Congress really have a chance, or we can safely say that BJP is poised to form the government in Haryana?
Right now, as per the Election Commission's data, nearly 1 crore votes out of the 1.25 crore votes have been counted. So that's 80% of the votes have been counted, and still Congress is leading as far as vote share is concerned by nearly 0.5%. And the way BJP's seat is fluctuating, I would not be surprised if BJP falls below 46. 46 is the required number for absolute majority. I will not be surprised if BJP ends up as the single largest party, but without a majority.
No, without a majority, but people are saying that even if BJP only gets 40, even then they will form the government with the help of the independents and others.
BJP can form a government even on the moon and in the US also. That's BJP ecosystem. They've already declared India as the Vishwa Guru. Modi ji has become the Vishwa Guru. So we don't know when voting happened across the globe. So let's not get into that. Technically, I'm factually speaking that BJP might well end up as the single largest party without a majority.
Okay, let me get in a quick comment, Srini sir, and then we'll wind up the show. Srini sir, only about the figures, how they are fluctuating, and then we'll wind up the show. Yes, sir.
I know. I think he's been pointing out that on the screen, 47 for the BJP. It's very interesting to watch. But I think it is true that even if BJP gets around 40, it will be able to form the government. I feel 45 is not going to be difficult. But for Congress, even if they get 45, that's not enough. They must have a cushion of another 10 seats. That's the nature of politics today.
I think Puneet also wanted to make a point.
Yeah, Nilo, I wanted to make a point, but not on Haryana. I think we've exhausted a lot of time on Haryana today, but I wanted to make a point on J&K. What Srini was saying and Nader explained on the problems for the government. You see, there's another issue which we need to understand here with regard to how J&K has voted. If you look at the breakup of the votes, it almost looks like two separate states going to elections. A very different sentiment in the valley, a very completely different sentiment in Jammu. Now, here again, if you look at the way the Jammu division has voted, a lot of people, and this is more for the benefit of our viewers, that a lot of us look at Jammu who are not familiar with the political landscape of J&K, look at Jammu as a kind of monolithic entity, which it is not, which we need to make that clear. Jammu has, you can roughly divide it into three different parts. You have the Jammu plains, you have the Rajouri Punch area, and then you've got the Chenab Valley areas, the Doda district and the adjoining areas. And the social combination, the caste combinations, etc., the communities are very different. You've got the Jammu plains, which are completely Hindu dominated. You've got Rajouri Punch, which is a Muslim dominated area, a Muslim majority area. And you've got the Chenab Valley, which has 50-50%, of Hindus and Muslims. The Doda district, which has 50% Muslims, 50% Hindus. And if you look at how the seat breakup within the Jammu region has happened, you've got the BJP practically sweeping the Jammu plains. Out of, I don't know if, I believe they're still leading around 28 seats. Out of those 28 seats that they were leading on when I last checked, 24 of them are from the Jammu plains. Only 4 seats from the Doda and Rajouri Punch areas. And so when the government is formed, a major question that Omar Abdullah and the National Conference and other leaders of the Congress party will need to find an answer to is the representation for the Jammu region. Please understand that the way Jammu has voted shows not just that the BJP has been able to turn around its fortunes, it also shows a nervousness within Jammu, and particularly the Hindu dominated Jammu plains, on the continuation of the dominance of Kashmiri politicians. And so a lot of people in Jammu will not be very happy with this result. It's not simply this thing about BJP winning or National Conference winning. It's also an identity politics issue. And I had said this earlier on our discussions that in Jammu, the BJP was on a strong wicket because it was able to exploit the identity politics. And so, whether it's the Dogras or the Kashmiri Pandits or, the general Hindu communities, they would want a say in the government. They would want a proper representation in the government. How much of that the National Conference and the Congress are able to give in, given the current breakup of the seats, I do not know. But it will be a major blunder on part of Omar Abdullah, on part of the alliance, if they do not fruitfully engage with the Jammu region. They'll be playing straight into the hands of the BJP. Remember, the Home Minister, while he was campaigning in the Jammu region, the constituencies there, constantly drove home one point, that if the alliance comes to power, Jammu will have to go again with a begging bowl to Kashmir. It is for the National Conference and the Congress to now disprove the Home Minister, to say that, whatever he has said was BJP propaganda. That is what is going to be very important within the constraints of the new government. We all know it's going to be handicapped because of, its powers being crippled, but they will need to find a way to engage with Jammu. Otherwise, as Nadir pointed out, it's a very sensitive state. And when one says it's a sensitive state, it's not just the valley. Jammu is as sensitive, and you cannot toy around with these sentiments.
There are quick reactions. You were speaking about Jammu and Kashmir, but just to give you a little update as to what is happening on the TV channels, there are reactions coming in from Bhupinder Huda, Jairam Ramesh, Pawan Khera. They're all saying that according to their control room, they are leading in about 8 to 9 seats. So, which means I don't know if Congress is ready to give up yet. So we'll have to wait and watch. But this constant a surprise element is there as to what is really going to happen. So we'll have to wait and watch, and we'll keep a close watch as to what's happening, and back to you again on a live coverage in the evening, according to whatever and however the figures move on from here. Thank you so much, Srini sir, Nadir, Siddharth, Puneet. It was wonderful having all of you on the program. Thank you.
I think Nadir wanted